Hello, Stitchy friends! How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. Today is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, and I am back for my Flosstube number 19. So if you are new here, my name is Andrew, and this is the Runner Stitcher. This is my dog Winston. He wanted to be in the beginning of the video as well. This is a channel where we primarily talk about my cross-stitch journey, but also a little bit about my running journey and what I've got going on with that. So if you're new here, welcome, and if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back to spend some time with me. I know I probably say this every video, but I'm so grateful for the community around cross-stitch and how we all can enjoy this hobby together and celebrate the wins and give advice and, you know, give tips and everything. It's just been really great connecting with all of you. And so I know there's a million Flosstubes out there that are excellent to watch, and I'm just so grateful that you are choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me today and catching up with what I've got going on. So thank you if you're new or if you're returning, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the update. To start things off, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about how my running journey has been going. So I am in full marathon training for the Chicago Marathon in October, and the long runs are starting to get long. So last weekend on Sunday, I had a 14-mile run, and luckily the humidity sort of dropped out last weekend, and we had a really, really nice weekend here in New York. So that made the run a little bit more bearable. I was still exhausted by the end of it, but there was no humidity, so it was good. This coming weekend, I've got 15 miles, so it keeps ramping up until I eventually will hit 20 miles for my long run. So 15 this weekend, and I think it is supposed to be kind of humid and maybe rainy, so it will be an interesting run, but hopefully it'll all go well and be good. But we also, so yeah, the running journey is going good. Some days I don't feel like running, and I still try to get out there and do it. Some days it's so hot, I'm drenched in sweat, and it is what it is. But yeah, it's going well, and I'm getting really excited as we get closer to October for the Chicago Marathon and how that will be. So we also, since the humidity was gone last weekend, we decided to, my boyfriend and I went to the beach for the day. And it was absolutely lovely. We went to Long Beach and just had a really nice time. The weather was perfect. It was sunny, a little bit of breeze off the water. We got to just relax. The waves were pretty calm, so we could get in the water and spend some time there. We always stop at our favorite Ralph's Italian Ice on the way back for some ice cream and Italian ice. And it just was a really good time. It's one of those things that we love to do over the summer when we get nice days in New York, which isn't always that often on the weekend. But had a really good time and happy to have that tradition keep going. So I don't know how many more times we'll actually get to the beach this summer, because the summer is winding down. It's going to be August soon, and the month is going to fly by. So pretty soon we'll be into spooky season, and summer will be behind us. But I hope you guys are all enjoying your summer. And I know everybody's doing the Summer Olympics challenge right now. I am not doing that this time. It sounds so much fun, but I kind of looked through my whips and what all I've got planned for August, and it just wasn't lining up. So, but I'm loving living through all of you who are enjoying the Summer Olympics challenge. It's been so fun to see what you're working on each day, and the challenges and the prompts and everything. So I hope you're all enjoying that. I hope you're enjoying the last of summer before we kick back into the fall season. And yeah, I also wanted to just say that since the last time I recorded a video, we had Midsummer Stitch, which was hosted by Stephanie at Lindy Stitches. She's got an online shop called Lindy Stitches, and they put on a virtual community retreat for the weekend. A lot of you joined, and it was so fun. I really had a great time. This was my first stitchy retreat of any kind, really. I've never been to an in-person retreat, and I've never even done a virtual one either, so this was the first time. Had a really great time. I loved just joining the stitching rooms and stitching with you all and kind of getting to know you a little bit. And even when it was quiet, it was like we were all just in our comfortable spot stitching, and it was so lovely. I thought it might be a little awkward, but it wasn't. We were all just there to stitch and chat and maybe be quiet for a little bit. So just had a really good time. I wanted to call out the two things that I really enjoyed from the event were they did a community finish parade on Friday evening, and that was so much fun and really, really so inspiring. There were some wonderful finishes such a variety of pieces too that people had completed, and just to see the community sort of rally together around Stitchers and the work that they've completed was such a good time. I hope they'll do more of those in the future. I know Stephanie has talked about doing more of these virtual events in the future, and I know Jingle Ball is coming up in December, which I'm hoping to join as well. But yeah, the finished parade, I hope they'll incorporate that into their events, because that was just a really lovely time. I also really enjoyed the speed dating. It was a lot of fun. I brought a project with me to stitch on, and I don't think I stitched at all. 5 minutes to meet somebody and kind of chat for a little bit. There's not time for stitching. So, but it was really fun. It's nice to sort of connect one-on-one with some people, and I'm really happy for all the people that I met during that one-on-one and throughout the stitching room. So if I met you there and saw you there, thank you so much for welcoming me and helping me have a great weekend. And if you saw me there but didn't say hi, let me know. Did you have a good time at Midsummer Stitch? It was, yeah, I had a really great time. Would highly recommend in the future. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started then. I don't have any new starts. I don't have any finishes. I don't have any FFOs. So I've only got whips for you this week, which is okay. I've got some good progress, and I'm excited to show you what I've got. So let's just jump right into the cross stitching. The first whip I've got is the Pixel Dragon Adventure Sal. This is by FlossyFoxShop, and this has been my daily stitch. I have been working on this a little bit in the mornings, the first thing in the morning during the week, and just getting a little bit of progress here and there. The last time on the video you saw I did not do that. I sort of fell out of the habit, but I kind of got back into it this time. So this week, or in these 2 weeks, I was able to add 683 stitches, and that puts me at 75.79% of the full project. So 3/4 of the way there, which is awesome. You've seen where I was last time, and here is where I am now. So this week I was working on finishing this dragon here, and I think I had most of the dragon completed last time, but none of the purple outline. So now I've added all of the purple stitches around it, which is really cute. Sort of brings the dragon to life. And in the dragon, there's these sort of yellow spots of a couple different color yellow stitches. So when I pulled that thread, instead of just stopping it with the spots here, I decided to also go down, and there is like a campfire down here in this corner. So I took those colors and ran with it in the campfire and put in the flames that you can see there. Hope that's clear enough. And I also worked a little bit on this vase, added some of the flowers here. There will be stems coming up, and it will be outlined as well, which I'll probably try to work on next time. But this dragon is now fully complete. So I think I've got one more bigger dragon over here in this section, and then there's a few smaller dragons throughout the rest of the piece. This is the edge of the piece here. So it's going to fit all in this nurse hoop, and yeah, it will go up here and sort of form a square. So I've got just this section left to complete. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I am happy to be at 75%. It feels like this project has been around for a while, and it has, but I am enjoying it. It's a very fun project. The colors are really beautiful. The way she has designed this with the color changes, it looks phenomenal in the end. It can get a little tedious since you're changing colors a lot and stitching only a few stitches here and there, but the end result is totally worth it. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I don't know what August will bring, and we'll talk a little bit about this in plans, but I don't know if I'm going to get to this as my daily stitch in August or not. I may, for the month of August, just take out the daily stitch so I can focus on everything else I've got going on. If I do that, I will definitely bring this back in September, because I'm still aiming for a finish for this by next February, when the Year of the Dragon will end. So I'm doing this for the Year of the Dragon Sal, hosted by Erica of Fibers and Floss Canada and Samantha the Higa Stitcher. And so I'm still hoping to have this completed by the end of the Year of the Dragon. I think that's in February. So that's still my goal. I think I'll still be on target if I bring this back in September, even if I don't get any work in it in August. But yeah, we'll see. We'll just see how the month goes. So this is Pixel Dragon Adventure Sal. by FlossyFoxShop. Cool. Okay. Then on to my next whip. So the next one is the Bee Queen by Tiny Modernist. And here's what she's going to look like. She's so pretty. I love the bee theme. I love her dress. That's the part I'm really, really excited to get to. And Cheryl, who is the Tiny Modernist who designed this, she was at Midsummer Stitch, and I was able to attend her session where she was answering questions kind of about her design style, what she's got coming up, and it was really fun to hear her talk about things. I think that kind of gave me an extra boost to want to work on this project. She brought out her finished product, or her finished piece of the Bee Queen, and of course it looked beautiful, but she talked a little bit about designing it and just about the motifs and things, which was really cool. I was actually able to ask her if she has any other queens or fancy ladies coming in the pipeline, and she said she didn't hint at anything, but she sort of said she's always kind of thinking about what the next one could be. So I'm hoping maybe that means that there'll be other ones down the road, but for now I've got plenty to stitch. I've got the rest of the Bee Queen, and there's I think 3 other ones. There's a Christmas one, a Halloween one, a Stitch one. That might be it, the 3 other ones. So plenty to do before she designs another one. I also talked a little bit last time about the pattern, how I was just finding it really hard to work from, and a number of you reached out with different suggestions and help, so thank you so much. I appreciate that. All the tips were really great. The one that I took and ran with was someone mentioned trying to put the picture of the pattern into GoodNotes, so I could actually zoom in a little bit more, and you can kind of highlight in there. I've never used GoodNotes for stitching purposes before, so I thought I'd give it a try, and it is really nice. I was able to put the picture that I had taken that markup still wasn't able to recognize the symbols from because of the color chart. I was able to take that picture and put it into GoodNotes, and I'm able to highlight exactly the squares that I need. Obviously there's no counting of stitches, but I can highlight and undo the highlight or erase it as I need, and I just have found it really great. I'm able to zoom in far enough that the symbols are really big so I can see what I'm doing. I think when I get down here to the dress, it's going to be much easier to kind of deal with the different color changes and different symbols here in this area. So that's what I'm using, and I'm really liking it. Would highly recommend it if you want to use a tablet instead of a paper pattern for highlighting purposes. GoodNotes is a good way that I'm finding so far to do that. So enough of my talking about the Bee Queen. Let's see where I'm at. So I was able to get a lot done on this project. I think, like I said, I think Midsummer Stitch really inspired me to pull this out and get working. So the last time, I think I had most of her face and a little bit of her white collar done. I had the moon done, and I had this flower, and maybe some of the stem done. So this time I was able to carry the stem the rest of the way down, add these leaves. I added this cute little bee. If you can see how cute it is. It's so cute. I added this flower down here, so I've got one more of these white flowers to go over here. And then on this side, I forget how much I had on this side, if I had anything. Maybe I started a little bit of the flower, but now I've added this flower, I've completed the stem down to here, and I've also added the bee on this side. So I'm a good portion of the top section is now completed. I've got the honey pot here, and then I'll start working on her hands for the top of her body. And yeah, I've got one more of these white flowers, and these white flowers are not hard, but they're not my favorite thing to stitch. I told you last time I made some mistakes on this flower, I think, so they're not exactly the same, or they're not exact mirror images of each other. I think it's fine for this one, but for some reason, maybe it's just all the white stitching, because I've been doing a lot of white. There's a lot of white in the flowers, in her collar here. It just was a lot. Maybe that's what I didn't like about it. I don't know. It wasn't flowing as nicely as I thought it would. But only one more of those to go, and then I can get down into the other stuff. So yeah, really excited. I started this along with Sarah at Somi Sarah for one of her 50 starts that she's doing this year for her 50th birthday, and started this back in May for that, and really hadn't put a lot of progress into it. And so yeah, I've been pulling this out in the evenings this month, which has been really nice. I've had a lot of bigger projects that I've been working on linen, and so in the evening I can just pull this out. This is a 16 count oyster Ada. I can just pull this out and it's easier to stitch. I don't have to think too much. The pattern is fairly simple now that I'm in good notes. And yeah, it's just been nice to kind of pull this out. So I don't know if this will come out again this summer or not. I've got a lot of things lined up for August, and I don't know if this will see any more work this year. Maybe this will kind of sit around till next summer when I can pull her out for the next bee season. But she has been really fun to work on. I'm really, really loving how my stitches are looking. I think they look very concise, very uniform. I'm happy with it. I like the colors on this fabric as well. And yeah, I think she's really good. Sorry I didn't iron it. It came right off the Q-snap. I literally just finished this honeycomb or honey stick last night. So this is fresh off the press and I didn't have time to iron it. But that is the Bee Queen. Really fun. Okay, on to my next whip. This is whip number 3, and this is Donner by Mirabilia. Sorry, I guess this is actually Nora Corbett, not Mirabilia. But this is what Donner is going to look like. He's so regal and Christmassy and fun. You've seen where I was last time, and basically last time all I had was the frame done. And I've been doing this stitching for Christmas in July, or Jolly July, to kind of get in the mood with everybody else for Christmas. So last time I had the frame done, and now I've got a lot of the sparkle done around the edges of the frame. So there's a lot of Kreinik in here, a lot of Kreinik up in here, and then the Kreinik back stitching around each of these little motifs. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it's very sparkly, very fun. And then once I got the basics of the border completed, I decided I'm going to start on the reindeer. So started on the antlers and got the antlers completed. They're all backstitched, so the antlers are completely done and backstitched. Donner will have some lights sort of hanging from his antlers here, which will be beaded, and that's why there's spaces in the backstitching there. But all of that backstitching is done. And then I finally got to start on Donner. And this is his little eyeball, which is super cute. So his face looks a little funny right now because I don't have it all stitched, but I've got a good start on the harder parts, I think. Most of the back stitching of this piece is from here up and around the border. So now that that's done, I think the rest of it will go pretty quickly, just kind of filling in his body. There is a lot of Kreinik snow down here at the bottom, which I'm kind of excited about. It's a lot of Kreinik, but in one area, so it'll be nice to kind of just go through it and do it. But yeah, this has been really fun. I really have enjoyed this for Christmas stitching. It's been so hot out that it's been kind of nice to pull this out and envision a snowy Christmas or some cooler weather. I am stitching this on the 32 count Zweigart Colonial Blue Lugana. I'm stitching it 2/2, and my goal is to have this finished by Christmas. So that will definitely mean pulling it out more because obviously there's still a lot to go, but I've made some really good progress here in the month of July to get this started. So very decent start, and I'll keep pulling it out, but he's really, really been fun. And that is Donner. Okay, next up we've got Gaia, the Earth Goddess. This is from Bella Filipina. Here is what she looks like. She's so pretty. I really do love this design. I started this along with Kat from Kat and Lilly for her birthday back in May, and also along with Emma Bobbins. And Emma is so far along. She keeps posting on Instagram, and every time I see her post, I get so inspired. I'm like, I need to pull mine back out. Hers is looking so good. And Kat is pretty far along too. I'm not sure if we might be around the same spot. But both of them have really great progress on theirs as well. So this was my 5-day rotation for the month of July, and yesterday I completed the 5th day, so now the full thing is done. I added, since the last time we spoke, I added 1,978 stitches for Gaia, and I think total now she's at 19.97%, so almost at 20%, which is really cool. So here is Gaia. So you saw where it was last time. I had all of this bottom section completed, and I had started sort of like a diagonal of her dress kind of here at the bottom with the Krynic and everything. So this time I've added a much bigger chunk of her dress, which was so much fun. I really enjoyed the stitching for this one. I also added this little butterfly here that's sort of sitting at her dress. That was a lot of fun. It's got some nice green Krynic in there. There's a bunch of Krynic for this design right here in her dress, and there are holes left in that section, and that will be beads. So I think everything in her dress that I've stitched so far is complete. So the holes will all be beads at the end. And I am absolutely loving the color changes in this dress. It really gives the definition of the folding of the way the dress is sitting. And there's a bunch of different colors of yellow and orange. And when you're stitching it or when you pull it out, you think, oh, how is this going to work together? And then it just does. It blends so well together, so nicely. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So the next time I pull this out, I'm going to obviously keep working on her dress, and I'll probably start building up this side here. I've also got some of these reeds here will go a little higher, so I would like to get that completed as well. But yeah, she's really coming along. This is a 32 count Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers called Spring Showers. So it obviously shifts into this. It's actually more of a blue, like has a more blue hue than what you're getting on the screen. It looks gray, but I think it's just getting washed out on the screen. But I'm really excited to see once I take the dress up and once her face gets into this blue section, it's going to look really cool. I'm excited. I think I'm very happy with where I started her, so that there is a little bit in the green, and then she'll kind of really go up into the gray. So yeah, I'm happy with the progress. 20% is great for pulling it out for 2 months. And yeah, the 5-day rotation really worked on this one. Now that I've got a lot more of her dress done, it gives me more motivation to pull her back out again. So that is Gaia, the Earth Goddess. Okay, next I've got the tried and true SAGA from Long Dog Samplers. So SAGA is my leap day start. I'm trying to finish it in 4 years, and I was able to add 1,164 stitches this time, so I am now at 12.53%. Still on target, doing okay with that. I moved into a new arch, which, as you know, means there is a new story to go along with it. So this one is kind of long, so if you don't want to hear the story, please skip ahead a couple minutes. It might take me a little bit to read it to you, but I thought last week's was long, this week's is longer. But it's a good one, so I wanted to read it to you. This one is called The Battenberg Cake. This is the tale of the real origin of my favorite cake, the Battenberg. It's a popular misconception that the Battenberg was created in 1884 in honor of the marriage of Queen Victoria's granddaughter, Princess Victoria of Hesse, to Prince Louis of Battenberg. It's a plausible tale of alternating blocks of pink and yellow cake wrapped in marzipan, which grits the teeth but delights the taste buds, in resemblance of the groom's ancient family crest. All very believable, but incorrect, because here at Castle Longdog, we know different. Cast your eyes, if you would please, high up to the top left arch of SAGA. That's where I've been working. where you will see a beautiful young cardinal perched on a treetop and a very regal bat flying out above the tower of an ancient country church. The unlikely pair were deeply in love and decided against the wishes of both their families to fly off and become secretly wed. And that's just what they did in 1864, 20 years earlier than the Battenberg royals. There was no fuss, no flowers decorating the pews, no throngs of guests or peals of bells, as they didn't wish to attract the attention of the paparazzi and Hello magazine. So it was just the happy couple and Parson Turkey, who lives on the hill, who were present. That's him partying on the carousel in the bottom row of arches after the ceremony. Just take a quick pause. So this is SAGA. Here is this is the turkey partying on the carousel in the bottom arches. And this is the arch that we're talking about here, with the cardinal and the bat flying out, which you'll see. Okay, he was the same guy who performed the nuptials for the owl and the pussycat. He'll marry anyone if the price is right. Little Princess Cardinal was an incorrigible romantic and just happened to be a good cook, too. So she created a special cake to eat after the wedding, instead of the mince and slices of quince that Pussy and Owl went for. And she called her culinary creation their bat and bird cake. So now you know the truth. 20 years later, that other royal couple, the Battenbergs, gave the name a tweak and claimed ownership. Now all that remains is for me to tell you the proper way to eat a Battenberg, which I learned at my father's knee. Place a slice of cake onto a dainty bone china side plate. Take a knife and make 2 diagonal cuts, first from the top left to bottom right, and then top right to bottom left. This creates 4 dainty bite-sized triangles, each with marzipan edge and a tiny triangle of pink and yellow cake. Next, take a pastry fork and pop one in your mouth with your pinky finger crooked. So much more genteel than shoving the whole thing in your cake hole all in one go. So that is the story of how the Battenberg cake started, and that is the very first arch in the top corner. So I will show you now what I was able to complete of this arch. Sorry, let me just figure out where I am. Okay. So here is the arch that we're talking about. So right here is the little cardinal, and here is the bat that is flying out of the church. And they are the newlyweds that created the bat and bird cake. Super cute. So I had a lot of fun stitching this. The last time you saw it, I was still in this arch. I don't think I had fully completed the bottom section here. And so now I have moved over to the final arch of the top row, and I finished the top section. I put in obviously all these motifs in the arch. I started a little bit of this design that kind of layers underneath here, and then I'll have to carry this bottom section over to the edge as well. And yeah, so that pretty much means that the first row of arches is basically complete. I've got a few more stitches to go on this side just to complete that one, which I'll finish the next time. But yeah, it's looking so good. I'm really happy with it. This is stitched on a 32 count vintage country mocha with Silks for You PR 207. I'm stitching it 1/2, and really loving the coverage, loving the look of it. It's been really fun. Now you'll see here that I have stitched a little bit on the side, and I didn't take it out yet because I wanted to show you. So the last time we spoke, I know I had mentioned my concern that obviously you can see the margin at the top is just off. It's much smaller here than it is here, and I was voicing my concern, and I knew I needed to just measure it down to see if it was going to fit or not, and I was just kind of dreading it because I didn't want to deal with the fact that it wouldn't fit, maybe. But I'm happy to report that this thread goes all the way to the bottom and does not hit the edge. It's the same margin at the very bottom as it is at the very top, which means that I'm okay on margins on this side. I think the same is true of this side. I am going to do a running stitch down that side as well, just to double check, just to make sure, but I'm okay. So I think that the only issue was the cutting along the top here. I think they just, when they cut it, it wasn't even with the lines, and but it only affects the top section of the piece. So I'm very grateful to know that it's gonna fit. That's really exciting. So yeah, I'm really happy. So now that I've completed, or almost completed, the first row of arches, you know, I had been working from this side over. Now I'm over here right now. I think I'll just work down to the next arch over here and then kind of work my way back across for those arches. So that's my plan of action for this piece, and you'll keep seeing it. It'll keep coming out. Hopefully I'll keep making progress, and yeah, it's been fun. So that is my update on SAGA. Just give me 1 second to roll this up. And I guess I'm showing you my back. This is a backwards back, but here it is. This is my back. It's pretty neat, I would say. Kind of fun. Not all of my backs look that neat, but it's been really fun stitching with just one strand and of silk. I think I've been able to, and just the way long dogs are designed, I've been able to kind of keep my back very, very neat, which I'm happy about. So that is SAGA. Okay, and I've got one more whip for you. So the next one is Lily of the Woods. This is by Mirabilia. I am stitching this along with Yoshi and a bunch of other people for the first Mira Sal, hashtag first Mira Sal. And that could be your first Mira of 2024, your first Mira ever, if you're stitching a Lily of the Woods, lots of options. But I'm stitching this with my friend Yoshi. He has a Flosstube here. I will link it down below, and definitely go check him out. He's made some really great progress on his Lily as well with a color conversion, so it's really exciting to see what he's been doing with the colors. But this is what Lily of the Woods will look like. Last time you saw it, I had this top section completed, and I had just moved her on the scroll frame, so you won't see this top section now, but you'll see how much of the bottom I was able to get done. As you know, this was my whip go call twice for July, so the goal was to get in 5,000 stitches for the month, 2,500 stitches on each goal. And I'm happy to say that since the last time I saw you, I've put in 2,044 stitches, which puts me at approximately 93.92%. And for the month, I was able to get 5,187 stitches. So just over the 5,000 mark. I told you I thought that might mean I would get all of the stitching completed, but I didn't yet. But here is the bottom section from where I was last time. So I completed her dress down here, and I added all of this fabric here and down draping over here. So there's a few more rows of fabric that go down here in this section, and then there's the log that I have to do over here that kind of stretches out this direction. I also added in the very last of the blossoms, you know, my favorite part of the piece. There was one more to do, I added that in, and yeah, I really, really love how this looks, how the dress is sort of folding and how the fabric is draping over the log. I think it all looks really great. So on the pattern that I'm using in markup, which isn't 100% correct, but it says I've got around 1,100 stitches left. I think probably about 500 or 600 of those are actual cross stitches. So then the rest of it will be beading. And there's a lot of beads. And I realized that some of the beads are not actually in the pattern. They're not in a square. So I don't think markup is counting those. So there's probably more beads that I have to do than markup knows about, which means I'm probably not quite at 93.92%, but it's close enough. I'm gonna use that for my margin for now. So yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait to unveil or unravel this and reveal her full look. That'll be really fun. But the stitching is so close to being done, which makes me really happy. I will definitely have this finished this year, and yeah, we'll make some more progress soon. So again, August is busy. I've been looking at mapping everything out, and the sad part is I don't think Lily's gonna come back out in August. There's just a lot going on. So I'm really happy with where she's gotten to in July, but probably this will be a September project or maybe even October till she gets pulled back out and I can complete the stitches and then start the beading. But really fun. That's Lily. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about plans, and I'm just going to kind of go over things real quickly because there is sort of a lot happening. But the first thing was July WIP Go. So as you know, I finished the 2 goals for Lily of the Woods, and I actually got my first bingo. So my prize for the first bingo was to get a new kit. So I will be looking around for what to buy for my next kit. Now that I've completed my first bingo, I'm allowing myself to be able to purchase one. So I'll keep you posted on that and let you know what I decide. Then August WIP Go numbers were called, and I'll put a picture here of my WIP Go board just so you can see kind of everything filled out. You'll see the bingo, you'll see the yellow squares are what's called for next month. So in August, number 12 and 15 were called. Now, number 12 is interesting and kind of good timing because number 12 was my Chihuahua piece. And as you know, I've already finished that. And actually, I'm going to go grab that. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot I didn't have this with me. So you have seen this before, and I've shared it a number of times since I finished it, but here it is one more time. This is the Chihuahua piece that I made of my dog Winston. I can link the Etsy store down below. I forget what they were called right now, but I'll put a link in the chart below. So this was the piece that was on my WIP Go board that I actually finished so much faster than I thought I would because I was really enjoying it. So this was on my WIP Go board, but I've already finished it. So technically that square is complete. However, this month we are taking a vacation to California at the end of the month to go see my boyfriend's family. And his dad is a pretty good sewer. He's made pillows in the past, and I've asked him if he can sort of sit with me at his sewing machine and kind of teach me a little bit. So the goal for this trip was to always finish this into a pillow, which I think will be super cute. So it's kind of fun that WIP Go called this number in the month of August when I was intentionally going to finish it anyway, or fully finish this. So I'm kind of transferring the WIP Go square into fully finishing the Chihuahua piece since it's already completed. So kind of perfect timing, and you will see, hopefully in September, you'll see an FFO of this piece, which is really exciting. So that is my first WIP Go number. Kind of along the lines of that while we're talking about it. So because I'm going to be making a pillow and I've never done that before, I thought I should maybe practice on something first just to make sure I'm doing it right, like so I don't mess up the Chihuahua piece because I love it so much. So I was looking through my patterns, like what could I stitch that's super small that would be easy to kind of test into making into a small pillow. And I found this pattern that I had got a while ago. I think it was last fall or maybe even last summer from, I think the Instagram account is Son of a Stitch. I'll try to link that down below. And this was a free pattern. I'm not sure if it's still available or if you can get it anymore, but so this is technically a start and finish since you've last seen the video, but here is You're the Ba-Bomb. These are the little bombs from the Super Mario game, and I just thought this was super cute. I loved sort of the lettering at the bottom. I thought the bomb was just adorable, and it was such a nice small pattern. I just stitched this on a 14 count Ada that I had in stash, and all of these were colors that I had in my stash except for one of these yellows, which I had to purchase. But this will be used for my test pillow. So I thought this could make like a cute, just small little pillow anyway. And yeah, I'm going to take this as well and try out my pillow making skills before I move on to the Chihuahua. So that is kind of a small little cross stitch piece, but still super cute. And hopefully you'll see that fully finished as well. Okay, so back to WIP Go. That was WIP Go call number 12. Now, WIP Go number 15 was the other number for the month, and that is my Christmas Wonderland sale. So I wasn't able to do Christmas in July with my WIP Go call, but I guess they want me to keep going with Christmas in August. So the goal for my Christmas Wonderland Sal by Caterpillar Cross Stitch is to put in 4,000 stitches for the month. That's a hefty goal. It's a fairly easy piece to work on, so I think I should be able to complete it. But with the vacation coming up at the end of the month, and I'm not really sure how much stitching I'll get done while we're there, that means I have to kind of front load a lot of those stitches. So I'm going to do my best to get as many of those completed before I go on my trip, and that way I can just decide what project I want to take with me and not have anything sort of hanging over my head. So that will probably take a lot of my time doing that Wonderland Sal. I think I have around like 8,000 stitches left to do on the piece, so putting in 4,000 this month would be a huge jump, and then maybe I could really finish this by Christmas. If you should have seen that in my last whip parade a couple videos ago, and I haven't worked on that at all since last Christmas, so nothing has changed, but I am excited to pull that back out and start getting some progress on it. So that is a big part of my August plans. As far as the 5-4-3 rotation goes, I talked about my July. 5 was for Donner, 4 was for Gaia, and 3 was for Lilly. I was able to complete all those days, all that time, so everything is done there. Moving on to August, I'm going to try to do the 5-4-3 rotation. Again, with the vacation, it's going to be just kind of what I have in the first half of the month, but my goal is to do 5 days on a new start that I've got coming up on August 1st, which I'll talk about. Well, I'll just talk about it now. Laura from Lila Stitches and Alex, who is on Instagram as Salix_stitches, we are going to be starting the Comfort Lighthouse by Carriage House Samplings. Sorry, let me pull it out. This lives in my salt box bag from Jess at ComoStitches. And here is the Comfort Lighthouse by Carriage House Samplings. So pretty. So we are going to be starting this on August 1st, and we're going to be starting the hashtag Let Your Lighthouse Shine Sal. And it can be if you're working on this piece for sure, but also we just want to see you pull out all of your lighthouse pieces. There's so many good ones out there, and we're not quite finished with summer, so pull those out now while you can get some summer stitching on your lighthouses. And definitely tag us on Instagram if you are stitching things. I know a lot of people have reached out and said they are pulling out a project for this Sal, which I think is awesome. It'll be great to kind of see all the different lighthouse pieces that are out there. And yeah, hopefully you can join in on August 1st. Let us know what you're stitching and tag us if you post on Instagram so we can all see the beautiful lighthouses of cross stitch. But that's Let Your Lighthouse Shine Sal. That's August 1st. So because that is a new start, I always like to give my starts as much of a progress as I can. And I am going to aim to get that my 5-day rotation. So 5 days will go to Comfort Lighthouse in August. 4 days will have to be for Christmas Wonderland because 4,000 stitches is a lot. I'm going to need that time. And my 3-day rotation, I'm going to try to pull out Summer Mermaid from the Mermaids of the Season Bella Filipina piece that I have, because when we get back from our trip, it's going to be the beginning of September, and that means I only have a couple weeks until fall, and I'm supposed to have the Summer Mermaid completed by then. So I'm going to give 3 days to the Summer Mermaid to hopefully jumpstart that, and maybe I can get all the stitching done before I go on vacation, so when I come back I'll just have beading to do, but we'll see how that goes. August is kind of going to be weird. I've also got my birthday coming up on the 12th, and I originally wanted to have a birthday start, but with all the other busy plans this month, I don't know that that's going to happen, which is okay. I've got a great start with the Comfort Lighthouse on the 1st. Maybe I'll just carry that over to my birthday. And I've also got another start that I'm thinking of doing tomorrow on the last day of July, and that is for the Quaker Ween Sal, and that is stitching Lila Studios' Halloween Quaker. I think that's hosted by Jen at Jen's Fiber Web, also hosted by Alex at Salix Stitches, and then Erinn at CozyTownstitches. So I've had that kitted up, and actually I can show you what I've got. I may have shared this before, so apologies if I have. But this will be stitched on a 40 count Seraphim 40 count Haunted by Seraphim Fabrics. This is the piece. And I'll try to pop a picture here of what the Halloween Quaker looks like. I think most of us know what it is. But I've also got the Vicky Clayton Silks kitted up for this one. And so yeah, I have this. I didn't know when I was going to start it, but now that I know there's a sale, I'm like, well, maybe I should just start it on the 31st. And it'll only get one day on the 31st, and that's fine, but at least it'll be a start. And then when the Halloween season rolls around in October, I can pull it out and get more stitches done on that without having to worry about starting it. So that will be another start. Maybe I can count that as my birthday. Yeah, so August is just going to be busy. We've got a birthday month, we've got a vacation, we've got lots of goals, and it's going to be busy. I know it's going to fly by. So those are kind of my plans for the next month, and then September we'll hopefully get back into a more normal schedule, and we'll get back into things. But I also wanted to share a little bit of stitchy kindness that I got this week. This is from my friend Carla, who's been watching my channel, and she reached out and said, I've got a kit here that I'm wondering if you would want. I know I'm never going to get to stitching it. And it was a Teresa Wensler. And I have been looking at this pattern for a while just because I love the Teresa Wensler looks. Now, I've never done a Teresa Wensler. I haven't even started one, but it is on my goals to do. And this one is Lady of Charlotte. Here is the pattern, and that border is just incredible, and the castle in the background, it's just beautiful. So yeah, this is the full kit. So it came with a 28 count tea dyed Monaco, which I've never worked on, but that'll be fun to try, and all the floss and also the beads. So thank you so much, Carla. I really, really appreciate this. This is a lovely gift, and I'm excited to start this. I don't know when it will happen, and it is a project that will probably take me years and years, but I have so many Teresa Wensler patterns now that I want to get one started. I don't know which one will be my first one, but they're amazing pieces. I know they will take a long, long time, but I think it'll be well worth it. So really, really grateful for this piece. Thank you so much, Carla. As far as haul goes this time, I don't really have a lot. I'm going to share my fabric of the month from Bestitch Me. This is July's fabric, so I assume everybody's gotten theirs by now, but if you haven't, look away. I get mine in a 32 count fat quarter, and this month was coconut shell. So this is kind of a lovely brownish color. I really like the modeling. This actually would have also been a good choice for Halloween Quaker. It looks really good. But that is my fabric from Bestitch Me, and honestly, that's kind of all the haul I have. I haven't really purchased a lot this month. I made a lot of purchases at the beginning of the month for kitting things up, and so I don't have a lot more, unfortunately. Or fortunately, if you don't want to be enabled. However, I know that there's a lot of new patterns going to be released here in August, and so I'm just gearing up for all the fall, Halloween, Christmas goodies that I'm going to want. I'm sure I will be adding to my collection at that point. But I think that's all I've got for you today. I hope I didn't forget anything. It seemed like there was a lot to discuss today. But keep running if you're a runner. Always keep stitching. And be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now. Until the next stitch.